Hey everyone, welcome back to another video by the Nerd Forum, and in this tutorial we are going to be learning how to create a trim sheet texture in 3D Code. So I know you'd want for me to show the whole sculpting and designing process of the trim sheet in 3D Code, but rather I'm going to be doing the designing and sculpting in Blender and then importing that model into 3D Code where we'll create the trim sheet texture. This video was actually suggested by someone on Reddit after I had posted one of my videos. Prior to this, I had never really heard about trim sheets. So when I Googled the concept, I found it to be a rather interesting method of texturing, and I thought, let me give it a try. So going to the scene that we had right in front of us, you guys can see this is the work of the trim sheet texture. Nothing too crazy. Everything that you see over here was made with the trim sheet texture. And just to showcase that the a part of the model is tileable in one direction as is said online about trim sheets. And I just go to my edit mode and I select the line over here and I slide it, pressing C. You guys can see that the trim sheet texture actually goes on forever. So yeah, you can literally tile it in one direction. I mean, trim sheets are a really good method, of course, for texturing when you have low poly models or you want to, of course, save on memory when making your game or anything, right? So in this tutorial, we're going to be going over that, and enjoy the video, guys. Okay, so I'm in Blender. I'm just adding one of the first details that go into the preparation of the trim sheets, which of course is the tiles. I didn't really do the thorough planning that I've seen on the internet, like that you see on trim sheets when it comes to having a divide pretty much section of the trim sheet and writing specifically what's going to go on the trim sheet, whether it's tiles, metal, sand, whatever, man. I really didn't do that. I really just wanted to freestyle this because I'm like, it's actually my first time working on trim sheets, and I'm like, it's pretty much the opposite of literally making a texture from scratch. Like, of course, going back when I was beginning Blender, I really wondered how do people even make textures, and I don't know, this was one of the methods for making textures, and it's pretty much, yeah, a trim sheet is you getting your fingers into the manual way of how textures are prepared, instead of just going on the internet and searching tiles and getting a tile material. I mean, you can do that as well, but I mean, from what I've seen online and how people prepare trim sheets, it looks like a very handy procedure where you actually put in the effort and work. So as you guys can see currently in the video, I am actually just adding a couple of more details on the tiles and the trim sheet. I was really just having fun with it, no lie. I did not have any specific plan on what I was doing. I was just trying to give the tiles some detail. Of course, you see later in the video, I will be working on more materials. But yeah, I would suggest that if you are going to be making something manually like tiles or whatever, you actually get a reference image on how the tiles deform, because I was literally just doing my own thing. I did not have any reference. I'm like, I want to add some scratches in. At the end, I wasn't really too happy with the result because I'm like, man, it kind of looks like plastic or paper or something like that. Like, I feel like I added too much deformities or some roughness around the edges on the tiles that was a bit unrealistic in reference to tiles. So yeah, but I still really did enjoy the process. I know if you guys are familiar with 3D Code, I really do not really know how to sculpt in 3D Code, which is kind of sad. Let me not lie, knowing how much I use 3D Code. 3D Code. Yeah, I'm actually very familiar with sculpting in Blender, and if guys do not complain about my Blender. I'm using Blender 3.0 something. I hardly ever update my Blender once I've gotten used to using one specific one. But as you guys can see currently, now that I put on the matte cap, in the previous frame, the shine was a bit. If you can pause it over there, the shine was a bit. Well, I wasn't too happy with the shine, but yeah, it's not a big deal. But currently, yes, I am working on the wood texture that I was going to use on the flooring. I wanted to showcase this, but man, I didn't realize how much texturing a trim sheet actually takes a whole lot of time. Like, not necessarily making the trim sheet. The trim sheet is actually pretty cool to make, but when you are in game and you make, let's say, a model in your game and you want to apply a trim sheet onto it, it actually takes quite some time because you actually have to be creative with the UV and wrap and working around the trim sheet. Even though it is really saving on memory in terms of not having to import separate textures for so many different or so many of the same kind of materials. You can just use one image or one material and one image and material and just text the entire scene. But yeah, I found it that it actually took a whole lot of time. It's kind of like saving on memory in terms of textures and importing a bunch of images. But in some way, you kind of have to cover that with geometry. So when it comes to trim sheets, one thing I did notice is that in as much as they say they seamlessly are tileable and they're meant to be tileable, the whole one direction kind of tileable thing is what you gotta get kind of your head around, because you find yourself. I found myself, of course, having to add more loop cuts, but you'll see it towards the end of the video. Um, I found myself having to add more loop cuts, and yeah, I was actually kind of getting around it. It's a different way of texturing where you have to add loop cuts to kind of give the illusion that this is one stretched out texture, or one how could I put it, scaled up texture in terms of your tile, your text. Oh my goodness, I don't know how to explain it. But yeah, as you guys can see right now, I did finish with the wood flooring, and I'm working on the metal. This is one part of the trim sheet that I wanted to add metal onto. I really was just having fun, guys. I was not looking at any reference when I was creating this trim sheet. I was literally just doing it off my imagination. Like the bumps, the deformities were literally off my imagination. Nothing too serious. Here I'm not too sure what I wanted to add on it. I would think it was plastic, but even the way I deformed it was actually kind of very different. So yeah, but the one thing I did see is that a trim sheet usually is a squared image. Meaning it's the same on the height and length. So yeah, I did keep that in mind. Meaning I did add some form of wireframe square so that I can build all my models within that square. But as you can see, currently I am working on the plastic. I was really just having fun with it, adding creases. I feel like if you guys are still gonna work on trim sheets, the planning really does matter. Like if you're gonna set what part of the trim sheet material, like what part of the trim sheet um has a specific material, I feel like you should really get reference images on how that is done and how that works around. I was really just doing my own thing, really. Wasn't too bad though, but I feel like it could always be better. But at this point, I was actually working on the cloth side of things. So the part of the trim sheet that was gonna have fabric, more specific leather, because based on the scene I was trying to texture, there were gonna be leather couches. You guys are gonna see towards the end of the video that I'll be texturing some leather couches just using the simulation on cloth. I know the new blender has a really nice look on it, but yeah, I'm so cool with the 3.0. It's really nice. Yeah. And then at this point, I'm really just adding more wood planks. So I just wanted to add more wood for a different kind of wood texture. But yeah, I was really just working on the wood planks over here. I'm splitting the wood and yeah, just making it look kind of good. You can probably watch the process over here and see how I do my thing. I'm just gonna probably show how I do it on one. And yeah, if you guys notice my voice kind of changed in the video, just keep in mind that I did record this on the course of a couple of days. Yeah, I was kind of battling the flu on the other days, so yeah. But yeah, pretty simple thing, man. Adding creases and smoothing them out just to give it that wood plank look. Pretty cool, man. Here I just added 4 of them and added a couple more lines, and I'm gonna smooth out the wood deformity so that it looks kind of like the planks are kind of different. But yeah, I think at this point we can I'm probably much finished, and yeah, I'm gonna go into 3D coat. So at this point, yeah, I'm just exporting them, and as you can see, I'm checking the face orientation that it's facing upwards. Make sure your normals are facing upwards, guys. You can export it as an FBX, whatever. This is actually at a later stage. of me. So I recorded this after I'd already exported it, but you gotta export it as a FBX. So suggested based on the video I'm doing 3D code, I exported calling this one trim sheet. The trim sheet 3 was not really necessary, but yeah. So for the trim sheet is exported, now you're gonna wanna get your trim sheet plane that you're gonna bake the trim sheet onto. A regular plane, you just unwrap your UVs, make sure it's got UVs. Simple unwrapping, nothing too crazy. As you can see, I unwrap it. And then make sure the normals, I think I also specify this in the video on 3D code, that make sure the normals are facing upwards so you don't have a weird thing going on. But yeah, make sure the normals are facing upwards. This is just a flat plane. And if you have any like materials on it, so you can just use, if you use a textile density thing to see your textile density, remove it before you export it. But I export this as trim sheet bake, and yeah, from this point on, we're in 3D code. So yeah, let's go. Okay, right now, guys, we're in 3D code. So I don't, if I'm reminding you again that you actually cannot do this thing in 3D code textura. You really need to have a 3D code license. Like enough, I have a 3D code license. Yeah, because it works. It works. It doesn't work in the painting room. It actually works in the retopo room, retopology room. I feel like because this thing is such a common tool right now, especially with, I wouldn't say common, but with the trend of trim sheets and um, I don't have to reference it as Substance Painter, but Substance Painter has the tool in some way. I haven't really seen how it works in Substance Painter, but I think I've watched a couple of videos and it's kind of similar. But yeah, so what we're gonna do, of course, is go and import our files. We'll go to File, Import. Don't matter the version 3 code that I'm using. I haven't updated my license, so yeah. Not my license. I haven't updated my package. So import model for per pixel painting and trim sheet. Yeah, I'm gonna get trim sheet FBX. So this one has to be a model for per pixel painting, and the other one is gonna. And then the trim sheet bake is gonna be the model for uh, retopology. So right now, since this one doesn't really matter in terms of the quality, I'm just gonna call this trims, and then set the size to 64. I need to give it a auto mapping because I didn't really UV map it when I finished sculpting it in Blender or making it in Blender. Then yeah, import it. It might take some time, so just give it a moment. Give it a moment. Okay, so it just imported. Just finished importing. So you can zoom out. Kind of big, eh? Look at our model. Imported correctly. You can see the wrinkles and each and every single thing. You press the number 4. I don't know. I just like to press the number 4. You see the geometry and yeah, everything looks good so far. So what I'm gonna do right now is kind of painting objects, and I'm gonna name this trims. Um, trims. Okay, now that since that is done, I don't think I have anything to do here. So what I'm gonna do now is add a new room because I usually just use this for painting. If you guys can hear noise back, you know it's festive season where I'm at, and children are playing with firecrackers, fireworks. So just don't mind them. Then we're gonna please to the base for the tool set in the room. Retopo. Press OK. Room name. I can call this Retopo. Retopo. Okay. Perfect. Now what we're gonna want to do is come back to File. We're gonna import our mesh that we're gonna bake the normals onto. So we're gonna go to Import. Import Retopo mesh, and we're gonna go to our trim sheet bake. Now it's gonna say apply. Now you don't really need to have to make one in like in Blender and have to export it and import it. Of course, you can use the 2D primitives, yeah, 2D primitives, and then just add a plane and apply it and have a UV map. But what matters the most about the UV, about the plane you're gonna bake the normals onto is that it has to have a UV map and the normals of the plane needs to be facing upwards and not downwards. So yeah, because I had it facing downwards all the time and it gave me problems. So yeah, we can press apply. And as a proud sponsor of our video today is the Lord Jesus Christ. I thank Him every moment I can get for the gifts, the ability, and skills He has given me to be able to make tutorials for you guys. As it says in the book of Exodus, tell all the skilled workers to whom I have given wisdom in such matters that they are to make garments for Aaron for his consecration so he may serve me as priest. Just emphasizing the fact that all the skills we have as people come from the Lord Most High. Whether doctor, engineer, designer, all the glory is unto our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. With that being said, back to the video. And great, now you can see our model with our rooftop pole model with the UV map underneath. So what we're going to do now is we're going to just rename this to trim sheet. Trim sheet. And then we're going to come to bake normals per pixel plus flat displacement. So let me set this to 0 so I can do it from scratch. Okay, now what we're gonna do is that there's two things here, that two dots or options. Preview inner shell and show outer shell. So the inner shell is the one that's gonna go inwards, like to the bottom, and then the outer shell is the one that's gonna go upwards or outwards of the plane. So right now I'm gonna select my outer shell and scan depth outside the object. We'll set this to, you need to see the outside, so if I say 10, okay, no, say 15, because I'm thinking 285. Yeah, I think that's good enough. And then inside shell, we want this to be like right at the bottom. So set this to 100. Okay, now negative 100. Negative 150. Let me see. It shouldn't have anything at the bottom peaking. Yes, I think 150 is good. Outer shell, inner shell seem good. So you can press OK. And now we're gonna have it's gonna import it to per pixel painting. Keep UVs, UV map. We can call this trim sheet. UV size 2K is good enough. Press OK. Okay, so it's done baking. And now I'm gonna go to my painting room and I'm gonna go to painting objects and hide the trims. And as you can see nicely, it has baked our normals. Really great. So we had a good start with the trim sheets and 3D code. So I think that's pretty much the bulk of it. Then now you're just gonna have fun and pretty much texturing. So I don't think you need this trims thing over here. And it tends to make a lot of stuff that I don't really know the necessity of it. So and the last time I painted this, I deleted them. And it's all this, the color and stuff. So I'm pretty sure I'm gonna do it again. So I'm gonna delete this color layer. I don't know what this volume layer is for. If it's for something, maybe you guys can tell me. I'm gonna delete that. This flat displacement, I don't know what it's for as well. Maybe it's for yeah, no, I do not know what this layer is for as well. The normal map one I really understand, but the others I don't. I'm thinking I should set this above. Yeah. Then now we're gonna calculate our curvature and occlusion. So when it comes to calculate curvature, everything's okay. Local curvature, RGB, then press calculate. Okay, our curvature is done calculating. We can view it, and yeah, pretty nice looking curvature. Really great looking curvature. Great stuff. Now, just a thing I think you should also keep in mind. I think because of the size of my plane, the fact that it's like it was slightly larger than the trim sheet model that I sculpted in Blender, it kind of makes the the trim sheet texture kind of end at the edge, meaning it's not very tileable. something I picked up on. So if you would make the trim sheet plane probably smaller than the trim sheet model that you sculpt or create, then maybe it might be endless over here. I'm not sure. I've never tried that out, but I'm thinking that's probably why. And then yeah, it'll be probably a bit more tileable in that sense. Because right now I really wanted it to be tileable from this end to the end at the top, but because it seems like it kind of squares up over here and solidifies, doesn't look like it'll be able to continue on to the next. I don't even understand what I'm saying, guys, but yeah, I can't really put it into like designer words. So yeah, I'm gonna hide the cavity, and then I'm gonna make my ambient occlusion. So come to calculate occlusion, and okay, so occlusion usually is on one additional gamma correction, but that almost adds too much light, so it doesn't really capture the crevices and like the tight spots on the trim sheet texture. So I usually put it on 0.1, so it captures like every part of it, every part of it. And then light source, I think it's hemisphere sphere. I think let me try sphere. If it's hemisphere, I'm probably gonna fix it up, but I think it's sphere, right? Yeah, it has to be sphere. And then yeah, just keep your additional gamma correction at a low count so it captures the crevices of the texture with the normals. I mean, and you can press OK. Okay, guys, so there's actually hemisphere. I actually paused the video and tested out hemisphere and actually saw that hemisphere is actually much better. So yeah, I would suggest you also use hemisphere. But yeah, so far as you can see, the ambient occlusion has been included. So great. Now, so what I'd like to do now is go to top view, get into my orthographic projection, go to my measure tool, and just demarcate the areas like of different materials, man. So right now, I've got, let me go to my layer one. I've got this first part, hold shift so it snaps to like a vertical or straight line. Bring that down, zoom out, and then grab it, hold shift, bring it down that side. Great. And then the next one I want to do is this one down here. Come down here, hold shift, come out, then zoom out, hold shift, bring it over there. Cause I also want to connect it with the other side. So hold shift, perfect. Then I'm gonna zoom out, connect it over there. Yeah, okay, let's just start with this part first. So we're gonna come to our brush, come to our rectangular lasso, then come to our small material. So this is gonna be some kind of wood. So I'm gonna come to wood, pretty much the first one. I assume everyone has this wood texture. If you don't, I don't even remember how I got it, but I really think it comes with 3D code default materials. Um, yeah, just get, or if you don't have it, just get any kind of wood. I mean, we have a lot of wood textures in 3D code. In 3D code's default material. So yeah, I actually see my guides are missing. So I come back to my measure and show in other tools and snap to guides. So yeah, come to brush, I'm showing other tools, and so yeah, we're gonna name this layer wood one. How many words am I gonna use? One, right? Two, actually, yeah. Okay, great. So now I'm going to my material preview. Okay. So I'm gonna rotate this 90 degrees. I feel like opacity is kind of strong. So I'm gonna put opacity to like 60, 65, okay, 70. I feel like that's a really good opacity. Yeah, I like that a lot. So come back to my top view, zoom out a little bit, and fill. See how this looks. Looking a little bit, looking pretty great. So I'm gonna add another layer and call this dirt one. And let me cover some dirt. Fill, get some dirt. Okay, I think dirt two is the best. Um, yeah, seems like it's the best so far. So I'm gonna hide that. So if you want to see my dirt two settings, it's pretty much black with a noise degree 650 set to Mon concave. So yeah, cancel over there, and let's get this painted. Okay, the opacity to like 100. Better. So now you can see more of the demarcations of the wood. So right now what we're gonna do is go to the next wood. Press number 7. Go to wood, make another layer called this wood 2. Wood 2, I want this wood red. I like this wood red. So zoomed in. Now I'm not too sure how tileable this is. This bitch is kind of trash, right? Like it's tileable, right? But I'm still kind of figuring out if you guys also would like if you guys know how to make this tileable within itself. That's really what I want to capture. Um, but I think for now it's not really a huge deal because it's more focused on the trim sheet. And yeah, I like that a lot. Um, the opacity is set to 100, so yeah. Come over here, get this in. And yeah, great. Now we got some wood planks. I want to be inclusive of the dirt again also on this one. So I'm going to go to dirt. 2. I feel like I'll really be making a whole lot of layers on this. Come back to dirt. Dirt 2. Yeah, really good. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over to that over here. And yeah, get it dirty. So yeah, so far we got some really great wood textures going on. 2 wood textures going on. I like them. So now what I want to get is the leather. The leather over here. So I did get one on the 3D code material library. I'm just gonna show you how to search up. So yeah, I did get quite a number of leather materials. I wasn't really sure after having. So pretty much you download them, you close the 3D code, you open it up, you install your materials. It's gonna show you a panel. I didn't really record that. I'm sorry. It's gonna show you a panel of the materials that you just downloaded in the download folder. You select all of them and you install them into your 3D code, and then you restart your 3D code, and it's gonna have them already in the folders. So the one I'm gonna be using specifically is leather 1477. Okay, so you're gonna check how it looks. Okay. Make a new layer. I'm gonna call this layer leather. This is literally just for order so you can find everything. So what I'm gonna do now, I'll come back to my rectangular lasso and I'm gonna come over here and just look at how it appears. So let me zoom in a bit on that. Yeah, I think I like how that looks. So pretty much what I did was I kind of wanted it to look like slightly tileable to the point, like, because I'm trying to get to the tileable state, and if it looks tileable, then Yeah, that's good enough. Let me see how it's gonna look as I preview this. Okay, how does this look? Okay, so that's perfect. So now what we're gonna do is set up the tiles. So for the tiles, come back to top view of the graphic, and then what I'm gonna do is come to my measure tool. I don't think I need. Oh yes, on the leather, what I would like to have a layer called roughness. Don't mind my materials is doing some crazy stuff right now, but let me just fix it up. Okay, now that we got the roughness, I just had to fix my panels. Um, so far everything. Let me just cancel that. Come up over here to brush. So far everything is pretty much leathery. What I want to do is add a roughness to it. So what I'm going to do is go to bring this down a bit. Go to plastic. I think it's what plastic grainy or plastic shabby. Plastic shabby. I think that's like one of my favorite materials. Like the roughness on that material is really dope. Plastic shabby. Turn off the diffuse and the normals. Let me try plastic grainy. Yeah, I think it's plastic grainy. It has a really nice roughness going on. So I'm gonna try that. Then I'll go back to my top view, my rectangular lasso, and apply. Come back to number 7. Apply this. See how this looks. Great. Looking great. Okay, so now I want to work on the tiles. I want to work on the tiles. So yes, I make a new layer and I call this layer tiles or tiles 01. Then yeah, back to my measuring tool. Okay, so I'm just gonna add my some lines on the tile side. 2 lines, in fact. So let me just do that. Come on. Bring it and collide it over there. Collide over there. Bring this over here. Perfect. Now I need a second one on a tile texture. So let's bring this to the middle. I mean, I hope that is in the middle, eh? Great. So now I'm gonna go to my materials, my brush. Then I'm gonna go to my plastic light. It's pretty much just a normal material with a roughness at 23, percent metalness at 0, and the color set to the module. Just cancel. I mean, when it comes to making a tile material, I feel like you can pretty much do anything. So yeah, just set this to like white and like a little bit, not too bright. Come to my rectangular lasso and fill this. Great stuff. Not too much shine. I mean, it kind of like a paper, but I mean, it's not a big deal. And okay, now I'm just gonna do this diagonal sides, make this kind of dark. Dark over there, this corner. Dark over there. Seems perfect. Yep, I like how it's on the black. You can actually see more of the shine. Great. So what I want to do now is add some roughness. Call this tiles roughness. I don't know if I'm going to use a specific kind of roughness or a pretty basic kind of roughness. Let me try shabby. I mean, it's one of my favorite forms of roughness. Okay, then I'm not gonna use shabby. I'm probably gonna use noisy. Let's most likely use noisy for all the tiles. So yeah, noisy. In fact, I don't even think I need to make a separate one because the one at the bottom doesn't even have. Okay, no, it's fine. Tiles roughness. Great. Let me see how this looks. I mean, you can't really see anything. Not a big deal. Let me actually call this roughness for leather, so I don't confuse it with anything. Leather roughness. Um, yeah, and then I just want to add some dirt on the tiles. So I'm gonna make a new layer. Actually, call it tiles dirt. Tiles dirt. Come to my dirt. Okay, I think we're gonna use a pretty basic one like this, just to get some touch ups around the model. So increase my brush tool. Bring it to the stroke one. I like it. So now what we're gonna do is add some metal. So I'm at the top view. I just need to add a measuring tool, a line in the middle over here to separate the metal. Great. Send this over here. Perfect. Very perfect. Now what I want to do is come to my brush tool. Make it that kind of brush. Come to my metals. The reason I make this kind of brush is because this brush has quite a lot of fall off. So I don't really like how it feels with the rectangular lasso sometimes. I'm trying metal dark. Let me in fact make a new layer, call it metal. Paint on the wrong layer. I'm just gonna use metal dark. If you want to see my settings, copy them. There they are. Cancel. Come back to my top view. Get my rectangle lasso. Oh, this is snapping. It was kind of okay. I think it's snapped right now. Um, yeah, I'm pretty sure it snapped. So yeah, I feel like that's actually really good. I like how it looks a lot. In fact, I don't think I need to add any more like anything like dirt. In fact, the metal is perfect. Now I don't fully remember what I made these two for. I really kind of forgot what I made them for. But out of simplicity, I'm just gonna call them materials or mats because I really don't remember. I know I know they white and black. I don't really have a black material, so I'm gonna make them white and black because of my plastic, my default. Okay, I got this button one, pretty basic. See how this looks. So okay, let me just get to the front, my top view, come back to my measure tool, zoom in, and bring this to the top over here. Great stuff. So what I want to do is get to my brush, make this white. Okay, make this black actually. Snap that. All on the floor, snap that. Okay, I think the black over there is pretty cool. I feel like that's probably gonna be used as like dark plastic. And then let's make this white as well. We don't really remember exactly why I made this white, but I'm just gonna keep it as white in case so I can texture the scene. Um, yeah, pretty much this is it, man. Pretty basic. So I can hide all my measuring tools, and as you can see, we got a pretty basic, pretty nice and simple trim sheet over here with some wood, leather, tiles, metal. Probably gonna be some plastic. So I feel like the tiles could add more like roughness, but I mean, and they could interchange with this over here because I mean, when it comes to trim sheets, it's kind of like creativity at its max, bro. So yeah, this is nice. So yeah, I think right now we're gonna export it. I mean, if you've got the Blender app link, you can use that. But I mean, this is just gonna come to mind. Export it using the Unreal 5 preset. And when you select Unreal 5, it actually selects Unity standard. Doesn't really matter. Basic. We got the base color. I usually turn this to PNG. I usually turn this to PNG. I don't think I need AO, but I mean, just in case. I don't need opacity. I don't need emissive. Then yeah, this is pretty good. Then we can I said export textures, not geometry, because I just need the textures. I didn't really use any new UV set or any new unwrapping way, so just export the textures so you don't have any issues. Then I select my path for textures. Since I've already saved it already, I don't need to resave it. Then you can just press export. Then now going back to Blender. Okay guys, so in Blender, as you guys can see at this point, I'm really just applying my trim sheet textures onto my models. Like I did say at the beginning of the video, yeah, while I was making the trim sheet, that you really have to be creative with your UV unwrapping method. So my way of doing it was by adding a whole lot of loop cuts. So instead of me just having one entire, what would I call this, flat plane without any without any loop cuts, and then having to add the planks onto it, I had to add loop cuts and then be creative with the seams or the divisions on the wood planks to kind of give it the look that these are a whole lot of planks. So I was kind of using the whole division part of the planks, for my advantage. I won't lie to you guys. I actually kind of found making the trim sheets kind of fun. Uh, just so you guys know, it's my first time actually working on trim sheets. Oh, even just the idea coming to mind was actually, like I showed you guys at the beginning, was suggested from someone on Reddit, and I'd never really heard it on trim sheets before. So working with them was actually kind of cool. I feel like I'm probably gonna work with them more, especially with texturing pretty much big scenes. Of course, I would like to try using a trim sheet to texture like what they call it. I don't know what they call it, a super model. I'm not really sure, but like a very detailed model. I would like to try and texture with a trim sheet and see if it'll work out. I feel like it's definitely possible because I mean trim sheets are kind of reliable in that way. But yeah, as you guys can see currently, I'm just aligning everything to make it seem like the planks go down. Yeah, I feel like trim sheets is just a method of creativity, man. They really do save, I won't lie, on memory. Because I was shocked that with just one pretty much texture, I was able to get this much done. But yeah, you can just see the process. I do also share on texturing the leather. I could not share on texturing the entire scene because, man, this thing actually takes quite some time. Like, texturing 3D trim sheets actually takes quite some time. Like, the level of creativity that I had to use and um, thinking out of the box, it took quite some time. I didn't really expect it to take this long. Usually, I just add a couple of seams, send the model to 3D code, and texture it. And I'm done in like, what, 10 minutes? Sometimes even 5. So, yeah. But yeah, you can probably just look at the process and yeah, and see how it ends and see how it's done.
Okay, girl, okay, my face is so unfair while I'm lost and I'm looking for love. You said, girl, that I'll chase your dumbest tears in the dark while you're waiting for more. You still said no, and I left searching for my dear in the park.
So one thing that I did realize was kind of cool is having to separate the UVs because you don't really notice like wood, especially wood. You don't really notice where the seam ends and where it begins because of the amount of lines. But I did use instancing in Blender, so that I don't have to texture like every part of the wood. I think like if you're going to be using trim sheets and you don't have to be doing it several times, having to texture things one by one all the time, I think it's really good to use instancing or just duplicate it and just switch up the trim sheet or the texture position of the UV layout or the UV seam, pretty much. But yeah, you will see as I textured the leather, I was actually really impressed how the leather came out. I've never used trim sheets to texture leather or a couch. I was so impressed with the result. I was really shocked. I feel like I might even do it more. But yeah, in the diffuse color, you can see that it's really not too bad. Like, I feel like I could do the table better. But yeah, now, of course, as you guys can see, I'm actually working on the couch. The couch, I had a lot of fun working on it. That's why I really wanted to showcase it and show it. I did texture a couple more things in the scene, but I really had to show the couch because I feel like how I worked with the seams and everything was really creative on my side. I've never really ever done this, and me just having fun with it gave me a really cool result. Like, I was really impressed with the result. Yeah. Yeah, here I'm just messing around with the seams and trying to get the seams involved. Um, Trust me, guys, none of this had actual proper planning. It was literally me just going with it, the flow, and seeing how it turns out. And I was not really disappointed with the couch specifically because I really liked how the couch turned out. I'm gonna show you when of course, I put the color on diffuse. I mean, on combined color, not just a diffuse color. Like how everything wrapped around was really nice. Now, of course, when it came to like the couch cushions, I feel like I could have duplicated it and just shifted around a couple of things. But since this is like my first time literally working with trim sheets, I was literally just recording the screen as I worked with it. Um, I wanted to really like get the hang of it by doing everything manually. I really feel like I could have duplicated each cushion and just switched up a couple of things. Would have saved me on time. But yeah, I do take to the entire couch with this, so yeah, you can just see how it goes.
Okay, girl, you got a face so fine. I'm wondering what you're doing here. My pretty world is full of lifeless lies, and reality is pretty clear. Calling, call a feeling, and I'm hoping that you see me wearing something that is pretty, kind of colorless and beautiful. But nothing really seems to be going how I dream, so my personal esteem would be low, such a miracle. Okay, girl, my face is so unfair while I'm lost and I'm looking for love. You said, girl, that I'll chase your dumbest tears in the dark while you waiting for more. You still said no, and I left searching for my dear in a park full of pretty girls. Called me a hoe, chasing different girls at a time, hoping you who I'm doing this for.
Now, of course, guys, when it came to texturing the sides, I had to be really, really creative with this side, with this part. I mean, um, yeah, I did kind of mess up a couple of times. Of course, I don't show that in the video, but I did kind of mess up a couple of times. But I feel like I got the hang of it, especially working around with the seams. Um, yeah, a lot of things you don't really notice, especially when it comes to textures. I didn't even realize how much things you don't really notice, so I had to play around with the things that people don't pick up on in terms of placing the seams. Like, see, like currently at this point, how I place the seam. Um, the textures are not the same, but it's not really a big deal, especially once um, the lighting plays a role on the object or on the model. You don't really see the parts that the texture is not kind of flowing. So yeah, that's the thing I really enjoyed about it. But yeah, it's kind of given like that whole old school game kind of thing. I don't know. I know they say game studios really like still take. I mean, game studios really like use trim sheets a lot on the preparation of models and scenes. But I really liked how it looked. I won't lie. Like, it really gave me the Half-Life feeling. Like I'm working on making Half-Life the game. One game that I really enjoyed playing, by the way. when I was a kid. So yeah, I finished one of the first games I actually finished. So yeah, no, actually the first game I actually, one of the first actually. So yeah. As you guys can see, when I put on the color, everything, the couch really looks good. I won't lie. The wrinkles and everything, I feel like it worked out really good. You don't really notice on a whole lot of stuff, but yeah, even as I duplicated the couch pillows and everything, I was really just impressed with how it looked. I was kind of shocked, like, man, a chimchi could come out looking this good. Not necessarily just in chimchi, but I feel like the texture itself was really good. Like the quality of texture on the from the 3D coat material library is really good. That's why it's good. But yeah, I was really impressed. And with that, guys, we've come to the end of our video. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. If you would like to support me in any way, you can buy me a coffee. And yeah, with that, everyone, thank you very much. Peace.